request. Really glad that you're here today. A couple of real quick announcements. If you haven't heard, Nick and Cheney have decided to come and be our new pastors, and they will be here November 1st. So I will be in contact with them between now and then, and when it comes time to move, I'll make an announcement about that, and hopefully we can get enough guys and gals together to help get them moved up here. So that'll be a lot of fun. Just a couple of real quick announcements. First of all, our servant evangelism for September. Wednesday we packed up 17 boxes of goodies, and instead of using those little peanut things to fill the boxes to pack them tight, we had about 10 pounds of these things donated, miniature Slim Jims. And so they all got boxes filled with Slim Jims. Xavier got his. He got his. We mailed him Thursday. He got it Friday. He opened the thing up, took out cookies and crackers, and he doesn't like peanut butter, but he had some of those peanut butter crackers, and he's pulling the stuff out, and then he said, "Oh, we got Slim Jims in here." And he got down to the bottom. The bottom was just covered with them. He says, "I think I need some more Slim Jims, Mom." So anyway, that was a great activity. So I know the kids are really going to enjoy those. Thank you for everything that you brought in. September Serving Evangelism, we do they're fake tattoos. You dip them in water. Temporary tattoos for the kids at the homecoming game here at Indian Lake High School, and that will be October 5th. That's a Friday night. The first year, we had to go out and actually recruit them. Go out and find them playing football or playing tag. Say, "Hey, go over there and get you a free tattoo. You want a tattoo? Go get it. Go. You know, I'm dragging kids over to them, and they passed out maybe 100 of them that night. Last year, didn't have to do that. They were lining up to get them, and you passed out probably a couple hundred. Well, we got more for this year, and what we do is they're free. We give them to the kids, but then for every tattoo that we give away, we make a donation to the athletic boosters. Yeah, we give it to the athletic boosters. So that's our September one. It's been a lot of fun doing that. So if you're interested, be that night. I think that's it. That's all I needed to share with you. We're really glad you're here this morning. Let's worship the Lord. Our numbers are small, but that's okay. We can still worship the Lord. He's here, I promise. He's here with us. Why don't you stand?
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes and wonder, and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Forspoken word, you were singing over me. You've been so good, so good to me. For I took the breath, you breathed your life to me. gold, like a vow that is tested, like a covenant of old. Your love is enduring through the winter rain and beyond the horizon. Mercy for today, faithful you have been, faithful you will be. You pledge yourself to me, and that's why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips. Father the orphan, your kindness makes us whole. You shoulder our weakness, your strength becomes our own. You're making me like you, clothing me in white, bringing beauty from ashes. You will have your bride, free of all her guilt, and rid of all her shame, and known by us today. And that's why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. You will be praised, you will be praised. Angels and saints, we sing, worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. Angels and saints, we sing, worthy are you, Lord. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning with our hearts open and our eyes wide open for you, Lord, to come down on us. Be with Faith as she brings this message, Lord. Thank you for your presence, and we give you all the glory. Amen.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
All right. Yeah, I see today we are kind of all thin, so I don't know where people are, but it's fine. I'm glad that God is here too. For those who don't know me, my name is Faith Obonya. I thank God that He has given me the gift of life today. I never take that for granted each day because it can disappear when we least expect. So I thank God. And I'm glad to be here today. The microphone, I think, is working good today, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good, wonderful.
I got you. Can I just do that? There we
There you
go.
go.
I can see ya.
There we
Now
go.
you can see me?
Now you can see ya, yeah.
You can't see me? Oh, you shook your head.
We're still working on it.
like us to share something that's, I hope I can say something that will bless you today and minister to you. I love to speak to the children of God a word that would minister and give them something to go on with the next week before we come back to Sunday. Because sometimes we get pulled in so many directions and we have so many things going on. So I hope today that I can give something that would really bless us as we go on for the week. And my sermon, as you see on your bulletin, I said when Jesus reveals himself in the hiding. And what does that mean? That every day when we are going about our business, when we think we are doing the wrong thing, or we think we've missed it, he is still there with us, even down there in the boonies. He is still there. And so we're going to read the story of what happened. And so let's go straight to the book of John chapter 21 so that we can talk about it. And before I forget, because I'm going to forget, we have an orphanage that we run for those who came from West Liberty, and we have 20 children, and we are trying to build them a kitchen so that they can move in, because we finished the dormitory, we dug a well for them, now we need to build them a kitchen, and we can't move them in until we have that. So we have a 5K walk run coming up in West Liberty on October 13. It's a Saturday morning at 8:30. If you're willing to come and join us and walk to raise money for that, you're very welcome. We would really appreciate any help in that direction. Okay? So the book of John. We're talking about the disciples of Jesus after Jesus is, for those who are new to the Bible. I'm going to start a story where Jesus has come, he has done his work, he has been crucified, he has died, he has resurrected, and he has appeared to the disciples not once, not twice, 3 times. To some, a few, 7 of them, another time, with just very few, to Mary Magdalene. So he has been appearing to them after the resurrection, and he has told them something. Go wait for me in Jerusalem, where I will fill you with the Holy Spirit. That is the commandment we are given. So we are beginning this sermon knowing in our minds, Jesus told his disciples, go to Jerusalem and wait for me there. So what happens? That's where we begin in John chapter 1, which I've summarized. There's chapter 1 which says, after this, Jesus revealed himself again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. He revealed himself in this way. And I was asking myself, I'm just trying to summarize this, why were they in the Sea of Tiberias? They were told to go and wait for him in Jerusalem. Why are they in this sea? This is in Galilee. It's way off where they had been asked to go. So first, they did not even listen to what Jesus had said. So what really made them not listen? And that's what I was asking myself. And the sermon today is about realizing how totally inadequate we are and how totally sufficient God is for us. And unless we come to the realization that we are totally inadequate, we think we can still handle it, then Jesus doesn't really come in, because he steps up back and he wants to see, okay, let me see how far you can go. And when we reach the point where we truly realize we cannot do it, even though we think we can, we truly realize we cannot do it, then he steps in and then he reveals to us who he is and the love he's got for us. So that's what this whole sermon is about today. So, he now reveals himself to them at Tiberias. How does he do that? This is the story. Simon Peter was one of the disciples of Jesus that he loved, that was always very outspoken, like some of us, who just cannot keep quiet. When the question is asked, they don't give the people that cannot talk a chance. They are always the first ones to raise their hands and say the answer. So Peter was that kind of a person, and Jesus loved him and respected him too, and he actually gave him a lot of responsibilities because of his personality. He honored, Jesus just gives us what we can do with our personalities. So do not belittle yourself if you're one of those, or if you are a silent one, like some that I never mentioned, anyone like Andrew, because we are like that. And one time, I'll tell you, we had a conversation with my kids, one very quiet, one very talkative. And the talkative one was always talking for the other one. And the other one thought he had nothing to give in life because the other one was always talking whenever things were asked for. And I had to encourage them, no, you are very valuable and you have a place and you have very great gifts and you can do this and you can be this. And today, I think he listened because today he's doing well. So, the same thing with Peter. So Peter, how do they happen to be in Tiberias? Peter called Simon Peter, Thomas the twin, Nathanael from Cana of Galilee, Zebedee's sons, and two others of his disciples were together. So Peter, they have been told by Jesus to go fishing. So Peter gets the disciples together and he tells them this, I am going fishing. Simon Peter said to them. And because he was their leader, they said, okay, we are coming with you, they said. And so they went out fishing and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. So now they have been told to go to Jerusalem. They do not listen to that. So instead now Peter tells them, we can do this thing on our own, I actually was thinking about this little scripture a lot. Has God ever told you to do something, but because it sounds so out of the way, and so out of place, and so not ordinary, that you think, I'm not sure he really meant that. So why don't we go by the sea? Because one, I'm a fisherman. I know how to fish. There's no way we are going to miss this fish. We know how it works. We know if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will happen. So we decide, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He's our leader. Peter was their leader. He knows what he's talking about. We better listen to him. So they listen to him and they go out into the sea where he is very experienced, where they know how to fish because they were fishermen, and they go all night. And they catch nothing. Do you think there was no fish in that sea for them to catch?
There were fish there.
I would imagine there were.
Yeah.
There were. And these are experienced men. People that knew how to throw the nets, where to throw them, and how to catch the fish. But the whole night, they caught nothing. Because they were using their intelligence, their know-how, their plan. They had it all figured out, how this works. And now these fish are going to be caught and now we're going to have breakfast. They had it figured out. So come morning, they had got nothing. When daybreak came, here comes Jesus, who had given them the instructions and told them, go wait for me in Jerusalem. And he's looking at these people and they are disobeying. They had the voice, and sometimes it's very soft. Very soft. You can miss it if you're not careful, because there's a bigger voice that seems right. I know I've missed it. And so I know we can miss it. And so they have been told, everything doesn't look the way you think, but I'm asking you to go to Jerusalem. There's a reason I'm saying go to Jerusalem. There's a reason I'm asking you to be there. But when they do their way, they stay all night. They can figure, if we do this, and we do this, and we do this, the fish comes, it doesn't. So daybreak comes. And when it comes, the disciples did not know it was Jesus when he stood in front of them at the shore. They are about 100 yards in there. I don't know why they didn't recognize him. Is it because he was too far away? Is it because he had blinded them a little bit? Is it because of the morning haze when the sun is coming up? I'm not sure why they did not recognize him, but we are told they did not know it was Jesus when he appeared to them. He appeared when they were at the bottom. When they had reached, we have gone all night. We don't even have any fish now to eat. It's so empty. And so, man, Jesus called them. He knew who they were. You don't have any fish, do you? Imagine that question. That he hasn't even seen what they have done all night. They haven't pulled the nets out, but he says, you don't have any fish, do you? It's like he already knows they didn't have fish. Don't you wonder when somebody asks you the question, when they already know the answer, and they're asking you so that they can prove to you, I know you wanted to do it your way, but I want to teach you something different. And so they reply, no, we don't. And he tells them now, cast the net on the right side of the boat. Why the right side? Why not the left? Was there no fish on the right side? On the left side? Why did he say the right side? He wanted to show them the divineness of the activity he was about to do. How divine, how holy this was. How the whole calling, how the whole telling them to go to Jerusalem was holy. And it cannot be handled by our human thinking, cannot be handled by the looking of our eyes, cannot be handled by reasoning. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4 can happen, it's going to be purely defined. Therefore, cast it on the right side of the sea and see what happens. And then, because we are told they did not recognize him, this is what I like about the disciples. When they were told, throw it into the right side, they did not start questioning, who's the gentleman? Who is the guy telling us? We don't even know him. Doesn't he realize we've been doing this all night? We have this net here all night. We even tried that right side. We tried the left side. We even went deeper and tried, and nothing came out. And now here comes this stranger, because we are told up to now they don't know who he is. But here comes the stranger telling them, throw that net on the right side. But then, I love these disciples. They did not start arguing. They did not start fighting. They did not say, we are fishermen, we're experienced, we know how it works. We've seen it happen in that place. We've seen it happen another day. They just took the net and obeyed and threw it on the right side. Then what happens? So they did. And they were unable to haul it in because of the large number of fish that went into that net. Therefore the disciples said, the one Jesus loved, that is John, said to Peter, it is the Lord. Finally their eyes are open and they realize it is our Jesus. And they are so excited. And when Simon Peter, as usual, when he hears this, it is the Lord, he tied his outer garment, because I can imagine when they are out there, maybe they had untied and were naked, probably only in their shorts, and they were busy doing this work of fishing. But now he hears it's the Lord, he now ties it, and then he plunges into the sea, and he swims ashore, leaving all the others. He leaves them behind, and since they were not very far from the land, the other disciples are the ones who came hauling in, they're dragging in the full fish. And when they got on the land, they saw charcoal fire there with fish already cooking. And I was asking myself, this is really funny. That is, he told them, you go throw the fish. You would have thought they were thinking he wants us to throw the net so we can haul the fish, so we can go and cook. And so they come pulling these whole big fish, coming out with the whole net full of fish, thinking, we're going to light the fire, and we're going to cook, and we're going to have fish with this stranger. And they go out there, and he has already lit the fire. There's already the charcoal. There is already the fish cooking, and even bread. He had ordered bread. He has already prepared the meal to prove to them. It's not about the fishing you're doing out there. It's not about the much fish that you're catching. I can do that for you, by the way. I've just proved to you I can do anything for you. I have told you to go on to the right and hold that and bring it and see what you're bringing. I can do it. And he invites them now to himself and says, although you disobeyed me, I told you to go to Jerusalem, you disobeyed me. I am not going to stand and judge you here. I've actually already prepared a meal for you. I want to welcome you back. So he tells them, come. He tells them, come, bring some of the fish you've caught. We'll continue cooking. Peter got up. He hauled the net full of the fish. They started, even though there were so many, the net wasn't torn. And he says, come now, have breakfast with me. That's what he says. And Jesus told them, come, have breakfast with me. When we have missed the way, or we feel we've really sinned, or we feel, I know God told me to give my life to him and I did it, or he told me to do this and I did it, he asked me to follow him in this way and I did it, and we think he isn't there, we are only deceiving ourselves. He is very much in our homes. He is very much in our schools. Even when things are going wrong, He is very much everywhere. Everywhere He is there. In the hiding, He is watching. And He is waiting with His breakfast ready. He is waiting with everything ready for us to come and realize that yes, we have been trying to do it all and we have failed. And now when He has His arms open like this saying, welcome, come and have breakfast with me. Are we willing to come and have breakfast with Him? Are we willing to come to Him? Are we willing to come and be restored by Him? This is what He's doing, because as soon as they come, they sit down and He blesses the food and they sit and they are welcomed by Him and they have peace and they settle with Him. And now He can now begin to restore them, beginning with their leader. And so He starts this restoration, but that is because they did not refuse to listen to Him. They listened to Him. They came to Him. They obeyed Him. They sat with Him. And then what happens? They start eating the breakfast with Him. And I'm asking, it did not make it sound so churchy-like. It wasn't, oh, you've got to look so holy, you've got to look like this, you've got to be like this, you've got to behave. He did it. It was out there. When you guys are familiar with the fishing, so you understand. And when you're done fishing, you don't look very nice, you don't smell very good, you kind of smell fishy. So He is there, and He's not telling them, first go clean yourselves. No. He is saying, just as you are, come and enjoy the breakfast with me. Come and be with me. And while we are eating breakfast, then I will show you not the sins you have committed, but what a great job I have for you. I truly value you so much. I have so much for you. If only you could allow me. If only you could be welcomed. If only you could open yourself. I have so much for you to do. That's why I'm calling you in. To have breakfast. To rejoice with me. To enjoy with me. To be with me. Then I restore you to what I want you to be. So that what you are seeing yourself as useless, as hopeless because you have failed, is not what Christ is seeing of you. And we look in the next verse 15, when they came and sat down. This is Peter now. Again. Peter is the one who had told the disciples to disobey Jesus. He had told them to go fishing instead of going to Jerusalem. So I can imagine, being the Peter that we know that was so quick to recognize his mistakes, he already realizes the mess he has put himself and the disciples in. He realizes, oh my gosh, I'm the one who misled them. I am the one who told them to go fishing. They're going to tell on me. And then, so he is the first, and then Jesus looks at him and he says, Peter. And I can imagine Peter thinking, he is about to tell on me. They are going to betray me right here. And he's sitting thinking, what am I going to do? And Peter looks at Jesus, and Jesus looks at him. And Jesus tells Peter, Peter, do you love me? And Peter says, I do love you, Jesus. He does not ask him, Peter, why did you tell the people to go to the Sea of Tiberias? He doesn't. Why? Because our God is a God of grace. He is not about judging us and pointing everything that we are doing wrong. He is not about me pointing everything that my husband is doing wrong. He is not about me pointing out everything that everybody is doing wrong out there. It's not about that. He's about, okay, I am so gracious because that's the work that I've come to do right now, that all I'm asking is this, do you love me? And maybe that's a question I would like to ask you. If Jesus is right here, he has welcomed us into his breakfast, despite all what has gone on through the week. You know what has gone on. I don't. I only know my life. You know what has been happening throughout this week. And now he is asking us, we have come into his house, he's prepared his breakfast for us. And he's asking me, you and I, and he's asking us, Faith, do you love me? Place your name there. Do you love me? And I don't know what answer you've got, but Peter had to answer the question. He asked for it. He asked very loudly about it. Peter, do you love me? In front of everybody. And Peter says, yes, I do love you, Jesus. You would have thought that answer would have satisfied Jesus. And he does not. And those who study Hebrew tell us that this meant a certain kind of love that he was asking about. Not just the issue that we tell each other. We say we love our dogs, I love the chicken, I love the meal, I love the McDonald's, I love what is the latest restaurant, I love that restaurant, we need to go for lunch. That's not the love he's talking about. He's going beyond that into something very personal and very internal that he's asking about. And for the second time when Peter says, he tells him, now, if you love me, then feed my sheep. And then he goes, let me put the right one. When they had eaten breakfast, Jesus asked Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than this? And yes, Lord, he said to him, you know that I love you. And he said, feed my lambs. And I'm asking us, do you love Jesus? And as you answer that question, he's telling you, and I, will you serve me? Will you do what I've asked you to do? And not do it your way. I've just proved to you that you don't need to follow your way to do it because you're an expert in that area. I'm asking you, will you trust me with what seemingly seems really not the right way to go? But will you trust me so that I can do it through you? I have just proved to you that I can provide the fish in a net where you've been struggling the whole night. And in 1 second, I can haul fish into that net because you trust me, because you allow me, because you allow me to do the job. I choose to do that. So he answers that a second time. He says, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And Peter says, my goodness, didn't I say I loved him? Yes, Lord. He said, you know that I love you. Shepherd my sheep. The first one he says, tend my sheep. To tend is to look after. Shepherd my sheep. To shepherd is more than just looking after. It's owning those sheep, fighting for those sheep, so that if a lion and a bear is coming to eat them out there, like David of old, you remember the story of David? You will risk your life for those sheep and go fight that lion for those sheep. Not because the sheep are perfect, but because they are your sheep. That's what he tells him. And then after that, for the third time he asked him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Now, remember this. Peter, not very many days ago, probably a few months, he had betrayed Jesus 3 times. Because when Jesus was going to be crucified, when Jesus was going to be hanged, Peter was asked by one of the little girls there, didn't I see with that man Jesus? And Peter said, I have no clue what you're talking about. I never saw the guy before. I have never seen this man Jesus. And they're sitting around again, and somebody else comes and asks him, didn't I see? Are you the guy? You talk like him. You behave like him. I saw you with him. I do not know what you're talking about. I have never seen this man. And 3 times, the third time he is asked and he denied Jesus. 3 times. And now, here we come. He is being told by Jesus 3 times. Peter, do you love me? 3 times. And I'm sure Peter is thinking, remembering that as he is hearing these questions. And he is answering these questions saying, I do love you. So what is he saying? What does he say? Peter is grieved that he was asked for the 3rd time, do you love me? But what does Jesus tell him? You know everything. You know that I love you. And he says, then feed my sheep. What does this mean for Peter and for us? 3 times he is asked that question. 3 times he is given an answer. And finally he is told to feed. To feed. You're a mom. I'm not saying dads don't do it, but you're a mom. When you have a new baby, or maybe you are a dad who has participated in this. When you have a new baby, does the baby tell you when to feed her, or do you put a program for when to feed them, or how do you feed this baby? Disciplined moms will have a schedule for the baby to feed. They will have a feeding schedule, a sleeping schedule, or whatever schedule, and I've seen babies of schedules. There is a schedule for everything. They are fed at this time. I know one last Sunday I was in church and we were sitting, and come 11 o'clock, we are singing, worshiping, and she tells me I have to go feed the baby. And so there is a schedule for the baby to be fed. So what I'm saying is, Peter is being told, Peter, I am asking you now to give up your rights, to give up everything about you, and now you're going to feed this sheep that I'm going to give you, that I'm going to open up for you, that it is no longer going to be you and your rights and whatever you want and your way. It is going to be now the sheep that I'm going to give you, that you're going to turn it to shepherd, but you're going to take care of them and also feed them, provide for them, whatever it takes. For you to do this, you cannot do it with your experience as a fisherman. You're going to do it by trusting me to guide you, to lead you, to show me, to show you so that you can be able to feed the sheep. What does that mean for us? In our very homes, we may not be as great as Peter, who preached and 300,000 people gave their life to Christ, because that's what happens a few days later. But we also have a responsibility when Christ has welcomed us into his presence, into his breakfast, and told us, Faith, be obedient to me. Do what I've called you to do. Love me with all your heart, and allow me to do it for you. Trust me. So my question to do is this. Will you open your hearts? Will you open your lives as an individual, as a couple, as a family, as a church, and entrust the Lord to allow you to be able to shepherd, to feed, to take care of the sheep of Jesus Christ that he brings to you, so that you no longer now live for yourself, but you are now living for the sheep that walks in through this door. As leaders in this church, will you know this is somebody new that comes in here? What are we going to do to follow this person? What are we going to do to feed this person? How are we going to take care of them so that when they fall, we pick them up and walk with them? What are we going to do so that we ensure that when they are out there struggling, we are struggling right there with them, not judging them, struggling with them, so that we can walk with them and bring them and present them before God. Here is the sheep that you gave us. We have made sure the lions never ate them. The bear never killed them. There they are. That's what Peter was being told. And he said yes. And after that, we see Peter preaching to 3,000, and they gave their lives to Christ, and churches were born. So I want to ask us this afternoon, has Jesus asked us that question? What's your answer? We will leave this door, and we'll probably go to our jobs, or go to whatever we do on Monday, and we'll forget this message. And then next Sunday, we'll hear another message, and we'll keep moving. How are we being changed? By the words that we hear, that Christ challenges us. Will you come? Will you come? Will you come? And allow me, because your experience and your knowledge will not really enable you to accomplish what I want. Only you coming at my feet and trusting that I have the breakfast, the food, and I'll feed you, and you'll walk with you, and we shall accomplish that which Christ wants to accomplish. Will you? Will I? I want to. Do we want to? I really desire that when I leave here, I will not just go back to my normal. You will not go back to your normal. But I'll sit down with my husband and ask each other, what is it that God wants us to do this week? That is not about us, but about God. Can we trust that he will lead us? Would you trust with me? Would you trust with Peter? Would you trust with Jesus that he is really trusting us, to trust him to enable us? That we cannot catch the fish on our own. We will struggle all night. But when we have allowed him, he will help us do that. And maybe you're there. You've never given your life to Christ. You have no clue what I'm talking about. You don't even know what it means to trust Him. I would invite you to trust Him with your life, to trust Him with your heart, to trust Him with your children, to trust Him with your present and your future. He will take care of it. He is very capable. Will you do that? Because if you are one of those, you can whisper that prayer that, God, I don't even know what she's talking about. I really want to trust. Pray that prayer, and He will do that for you. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, as you welcome us into your presence, and you welcome us to share the breakfast with you, we ask that each one of us in this building would come just as we are, with all smelly, fishy, but we smell. Allowing ourselves to be open, that you may receive us, that you may clean us, that you may give us your responsibility, so that we can follow your way, so that we can do your will, so that we can belong to you, totally and completely like Peter. Recognize our weakness, but not dwell on it. Recognize our failures, but not dwell on them. Recognize what we've done wrong, but not dwell on it. But surrender ourselves and move on with you, so you can build us into the people you want us to become. We thank you, we worship you, and we honor you. And we dedicate ourselves into your hands. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you.
I believe